the average person to feel like politics has anything to do with it.
I mean, it's tiring. It shouldn't be you're picking the lesser of two evils. It should be you're picking someone who you believe in, who you think is going to represent your country, not only on the global stage, but just represent your nation. You know, what's in the best interest is you, the people, because that's who they're supposed to represent.
Well, my dad is very into voting for people for who they are morally. That's all he votes about, really. It's not politics, because if you talk to him about why he did or didn't vote for the last 4 presidents, it has nothing to do with their political policies. It's all about who they were as people. My mom takes a much more objective view, and it's much more cut and dry. She doesn't, not that morals don't play an important role to her, but she looks more for someone who's going to be, a strong leader and, inspire people. I think there are 3 main things to look for in a presidential candidate. I think one is a moral compass. I don't think you can lead this country if you have no morals whatsoever. I don't think you can be Machiavellian. I think you have to have principles and stick by them. And, you do not compromise those principles. I also think a good president has to inspire people. He has to make people, want to be Americans and, agree with his stands and his, what he stands for, and, make them believe that America is the beacon of hope in this world.
I guess when President Bush was elected, the war in Iraq started in January of the election year. And the election was going to be in November. And everybody said, oh, this is crazy. This will be the end of President Bush. I kind of took the attitude that a sitting president would have to be crazy to start a war in an election year unless it was very necessary. So I took that as, I voted for President Bush because I felt like that if he had the convictions to make that kind of a step, that it must be worthwhile. And I wanted things to be seen through.
A good president, the president really, in my opinion, doesn't really have an overwhelming amount of power. He's the leader of the free world, but he's more of like a showhead. He's basically, he represents us, the rest of the world. So you need someone that's honest, moral, like strong moral character, going to make moral decisions for his family. Someone I think that has the best intentions for his country at heart.
As to who would make the best president, I think it would depend for both of them, who picks the best advisors around him. I think both of them will have to really lean on advisors and people that know a lot more about what's going on than they do. I think the biggest difference between the 2 candidates is Senator McCain has some experience. He obviously was a prisoner of war, which, a lot of people look upon as, giving him a lot of personal fortitude. And for Senator Obama, he's obviously very bright, very educated, but he's not as experienced. He's a first-term senator.
He has to be a strong leader. They have to be able to, stand toe-to-toe to other countries and say, we're not going to put up with it, we're not going to back down. We're going to protect this country no matter what it takes.
Yes, it does, because I think anytime you have a son or a daughter in the military, the chances of them being put in harm's way are there and are real, even though you don't think it may happen. But I also would, like for other sons and daughters to be taken out of the war zone. So I'd like to vote for whomever I decide can end the Iraq conflict quickest.
I think that the leadership thing definitely comes from my mother, and the moral compass definitely comes from my father.
In the end, I'll feel that I voted for the person who I thought would represent my country the best and would have done the best job, and at least I'll feel like I did the correct thing in my vote.